Hey everyone, I just wanted to take this time, I wanted to be authentic, I wanted to be real, um, and share what my experience is today. And, right now it is surviving. Um, I didn't realize until last night that it was my trauma anniversary today, um, which was extended over the course of a month, but the more significant experience was on this date. Wow, 14 years ago. But that 14 years doesn't represent the hurt that is inside me, that is inside my body, that I carry every single day. It's hard. It's really hard. But it's gotten better. I say that kind of feeling still kind of choked up, wanting to cry, wanting to isolate, which I have been this morning. And it goes back to like that shame wound from my trauma as well, of feeling like my needs don't matter, or that people don't actually care. And I knew that I needed to do this for myself, and to also shine light on and spread awareness about how PTSD affects people, and for my lived experience, it doesn't just affect me on the anniversary days. It affects me pretty much every day. Even just last weekend, I had cried, because I heard a song that reminded me of, the pain that I experienced. Sometimes it's loud music that really triggers that same emotional response. Sometimes it is, some sort of interaction with somebody I care about, because those, there's so many people in my life that are healthy and loving. It really challenges the internal monologue that I have about myself, that I am somehow unworthy, which is really from that pain that I experienced. But on days like these, I know that I need to treat myself with grace, and I slowed down and I closed my eyes then, because it's so hard to do that for myself, to feel it and to believe that those words are for me and not for oh my goodness, my stand is falling down a little bit here, that those words are for me and not for somebody that I'm helping in therapy. And it's interesting as well to be a therapist on a day like this, and also work at an inpatient hospital when I also feel such strong emotions as well. And it's really just like the way we learn or haven't learned to deal with these really intense feelings, to recover and actually heal from traumatic experiences. And even like the word heal is so complicated and confusing. I don't know, it just feels so complicated, just because there's so much that goes into like that word. I think a lot of people at the start of their healing journeys, even for me, I thought that healing was, you get to this point and then maybe the experience doesn't even really affect you anymore, or you don't think about it anymore, or it doesn't have any effect on your relationships with others or how you view yourself. But I think especially for people that have experienced, complicated grief, childhood trauma, any experience really that is, traumatic for that person. And I'll speak for myself. For my traumatic experience when I was 10, I don't think there's any way that I could, fully heal or not think about it anymore. And that's part of the grief for me, is that, my childhood started to get lost after that point. I'm starting to feel like sad saying that now. Yeah, the grief is still there. That those are things that you can't get back. And I think, part of me, and I think people that have experienced pain as well, is like, it's just like the why, and the feeling like I really wish this didn't happen, which is really grief. That's grief talking to me, and it's saying that it's also, I guess, pointing out that this wasn't meant to happen. I think grief kind of tells us that as well, and it doesn't have to just be this like feeling that is so negative. It's there for a reason, and I'm recognizing that within myself right now, is that even though with all of that loss, with the pain that I've felt and have been feeling, there's a reason that it's there, because I didn't, get the support I needed after it happened, that I didn't get, a therapist, I didn't get, the relational healing afterwards. And when you don't get your needs met after a traumatic experience happens, it gets, any sort of traumatic experience can really get encoded within your body, or really be suppressed over time. But I think especially for children and people that don't get the support that they need after these sort of things happen, it becomes even more difficult to recover. And I don't think the recovery really started for me until I was probably at college. I don't think I even started to really address my experience or label it as something that was difficult until I was, 17 years old. Sorry, it's getting a little windy. Hopefully it's not coming up too much on the audio, but yeah, and I think that's why, not just for me, but for so many people, why these experiences still feel so real, still feel so present, is because in the present, maybe at the time you couldn't have experienced or regulated all of those feelings, because it was so overwhelming, because it was traumatic, but also the support, there's much more support maybe needed. But I'll get back a little bit to how I'm doing today. It feels good to be outside. It feels good to be talking about this. Yeah, there's this I think loneliness that comes with my trauma, that I had felt for so long after I experienced it, because I didn't talk about it. I didn't know how to talk about it, and even now sometimes it feels like I can't talk about it. It's not that I don't know how to anymore. It's that that perspective kind of shift, I guess, in terms of feeling like that I'm too much, or that. And I was telling my therapist about this, I think around a month ago, but I get this like feeling, almost like a grasp, like a grasping feeling. But more specifically, the words like saying like again, almost to myself, of like, I'm feeling this pain again. I'm taking up space again. I'm not in the present moment again. I'm somehow impacting my relationships again. And it's like part of this